All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises due to the Most High. And just let me share this live real quick to my other social media pages. I do thank y'all for tuning in, and make sure you guys share this video because we're going to be talking about some things that are very relevant to what's going on right now in the Black community. And as the scripture said, how good it is for brothers and sisters to dwell in unity. And so this is going to be an expose. Tonight I have my brother, Marquell Bridges of Building Bridges Foundation out of Mississippi. And if you don't know this brother, who this brother is, you definitely are going to know tonight. Actually, he's going to be jumping on. Actually, he's on right now. So I'm gonna just go ahead and bring him in. He's not stable yet, but I do want to show the people who you are. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, brother? I'm in position. I got there early, so I'm good to go.
All right, okay. I'm pretty good. So Marquell Bridges, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the footage of the work that he has done that I've been able to witness him do. I definitely want to thank God for him. He's definitely a leader of men and women, an organizer, someone who's on the grassroots, out stomping every day. And the work that he's did, inspires me to keep going. So I just want to say thank you, first of all, for what you do. And before I even introduce him, I'm going to let you guys see firsthand some of the things that he has done. This is just the things that I've been privy to participate and witness to him in his work. So let me just show y'all this real quick.
Living in Mississippi, y'all supposed to come in this game. Ain't know about it. It's supposed to be 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11. What's going on? What's going on? It's disrespectful for you to be here. Go arrest them on their business. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No peace.
All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing that so you guys can just get a glimpse of that. Now, that was back in what, April or May?
April 10th.
April 10th. So this young brother organized all of the groups that you saw, and we're going to get into those groups. And we visited about 4 towns down in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. And we went to the courthouse, the police station, and addressed specific incidents. And even that time we was in Liberty addressing the situation of Tremaine White. Tremaine White was found in a Mississippi jail. He was beat up. And they haven't closed the case yet. But we were down there for that. But then the people saw us down there in the bus with the New Black Panther Party, the Louisiana Gun Club, People's Political Party, all the different coalitions that we put together. People saw us, and then they told us about the Jordan Hill incident. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Jordan Hill, he was a 10-year-old boy outriding his bike or dirt bike or bike, and he was hit by a white man who was under the influence and hit him and fled the scene. And when we got there, the police had not even arrested him, and I think that had happened, maybe a week or some days prior. When we left, the police arrested that man. So that's just, the impact. And that's just one thing. We're going to get into some of the other things, but that's just one thing that this brother has done. And this was, just one incident. I'm going to show you one more more, and then we'll let our brother kind of speak for himself. But sometimes you just have to let your work speak for you. So I'm gonna share this one too.
Where we at? Outside. Where we at? Outside. You want that smoke? Where we at? Outside. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Break down. Power. Break down. Power. Break down. Power. 2 times. Break down.
Y'all inside. Everybody, please support the Brookhaven family. Conduct yourself with some sense. Don't give them no reason. But we definitely going to go to man and speak with the DA for all of these cases. So, yes.
Let's hold out for the chance, though. We want these families to be able to meet with the DA. You know what I'm saying?
And so this is when we pretty much took over the courthouse and demanded to speak to the DA. And we'll show you a little bit of that interaction. And this was in Brookhaven, right?
Brookhaven, Mississippi. Yep.
Brookhaven, Mississippi.
They should call it Crookhaven.
Crookhaven. And we're gonna get into that. Hold on, one more clip. Okay, this is where the brothers and sisters went out to Jackson, Mississippi, and went to the Attorney General's office. Just 1 second. This is the Attorney General's office. Court system and to
mothers that have been impacted in Jackson, move forward. All Mississippi mothers impacted.
Mike. Come over there with all the people, all the security.
And we want to make sure we have a successful mission today. Anybody with guns?
Anyone with guns, just cross over to the other side.
All right, and I'm gonna just stop it right there because if you see the woman that you saw speaking right there, that is Arkila Lewis, correct? And she was speaking to that representative of the Attorney General's office because her son, Jalen Lewis, had been murdered by Capitol Police 2 years earlier. And she had been fighting, trying to get some justice. But with the power of unity, you know, and the power of the group and passionate hearts like my brother, Marquell Bridges, bringing everybody together to go to each city in Mississippi. I think it was like a week later that they arrested and indicted those 2 police. So
it wasn't even a week. It was that Monday, that following Monday. So I think we did the April 10th and 11th. That was during the week, and the information, they were indicted that Monday.
Okay, somebody put in the chat the Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Finch. She's the daughter of a Klansman. So, so I'm gonna let my brother. So what got you into this work before I get into, you know, some of the things that you have been doing and some of the knowledge that you know about these particular cases that nobody knows about?
First of all, Brother Taylor, thank you for having me on your platform. Thank you for all you do. You're a blessing to our people. Black media is needed. I love the way you go in depth and simply seek the truth. And report that truth to the people. So you're an amazing brother, and it's been a blessing to know you as well. And thank you for that warm introduction. A lot of that footage, this is my first time seeing it. You know, when you in it. So yeah, I ain't know what to expect. So that was amazing. What got me in this work, man, is for one, I gotta credit my grandmother Eloise Moffitt, my mother Zandra Lynn Moffitt, and my uncle Norrin Moffitt. Just at a young age, man, she was rooted in her people, and they just poured into me accurate Black history, Mississippi, and just all over. And then what motivated me to walk side by side in this impacted family space is about 10 years ago, man, I would always hear about a police shooting, a black unarmed black person, or just a black person, period. And I'm a researcher at heart. Like I like to know things. So I would always go look, and I could never find what the families were saying. So it tingled my spidey senses, so to speak, because I'm like, now I know not everyone, don't care about their loved one. Like there's never the family side of the story. It's always the demonized, the criminalized version that the police put out. So I was interested, and I was like, I want to know what the family has to say about the situation. So I started to go in my own pocket, put gas in my car, reach out to these people. By the grace of God, I don't have to reach out to anybody now. They reach out to me. But in the beginning, I would literally like find the family, go to them, and it was just a consistent pattern of every time what the police put out was a lie. What the police described wasn't who the family said their loved one was, wasn't the behavior pattern or anything that he was known to do. And the story was always different. So I said to myself, well, the way I can help them and raise awareness is by simply allowing these impacted families a voice to tell their story, a platform to tell their story. And that just turned into full-on advocacy and support. And now they're my families. Everyone I meet, I consider them, as you know, my families, and we locked in this fight for justice. So I'll just say, being just trying to be a good individual, not a good person, but a good black person, a good community figure, somebody that doesn't just complain about things, but actually try to do something about it.
Yeah. And one of the, I guess, I mean, I may be wrong, but I know one of the cases that you were very instrumental in, helping to bring light to, was that of Dexter Wade down in Jackson, Mississippi. And I had the chance to meet his beautiful mother, Miss Betterstein Wade, and his cousins and his other family members. So, and if you don't know who Dexter Wade is, he was hit by a Jackson off-duty police officer, and he was killed. And then after he was killed, with no notification, they buried him in an unmarked grave behind the jail. And with the help of his mother not giving up, they was able to uncover that he, along with about 200 other unidentified people.
682.
All right.
They've only been able to identify.
So you tell the story. You tell that how that went about.
Got you. So first of all, I'm glad you started with this case, and I say this for your viewers in all humbleness, with no ego. And if you know me, that's my character. But honestly, in the past eight years, pretty much any story or any situation coming out of Mississippi, if people are being truthful, I'm the reason they know about it. And so Dexter Wade's story, Dexter Wade was walking, allegedly walking across the highway, trying to get where he was going. He was hit by what they're calling an off-duty officer. I don't know if he was off-duty or not, because he was still in the police cruiser. But he hit him and begin to cover up to bury him behind this popper field. And see, a lot of people miss it, and they think, oh, well, there's nothing strange about this people being buried in the Poppersville behind the jail. Like, that's normal. No, majority of these 682 people that was buried behind this jail never had any interaction with the police. They were never under arrest. Dexter Wade was never under arrest. Dexter Wade was hit by an off-duty officer. He had a pill bottle in his pocket with his name and address on it. He had his wallet in his pocket with his name and address on it. So why did they bury him behind this field? They never breathalyzed the officer, who we know now and is identified as Jackson Police Officer John Crawford. And it's important to put names with faces and not let these individuals hide. But that's when the cover-up began, where his mom is fighting for him and looking for him this entire time. It's not like no one's looking for Dexter. She's looking for him for months. He's in the morgue probably, I think if my facts are accurate, no longer than 3 days before this officer had him buried behind the jail. So they knew who he was, they knew where he lived, and they never contacted his family. This Poppersfield behind Hinds County Jail seems to be where they take all of their victims, their where they do their dirt, and out of 682, only 280 could be identified. And please, look it up. It's researchable facts. If I'm a little off on the numbers, not by much, I know, but I just like to be truthful. So please look that up for yourself so you can have the accurate, exact numbers. But yeah, a lot of these people were looking for their loved ones. A lot of these people had no interaction with police, and people were looking for them. So how did they end up behind this jail?
So how did the case break to find him there?
His mom searching for him. So the lead detective or whatever who was in Jackson Police Department had been stalling his mom is named Betterstein Wade Robinson. Had been stalling her out, and he retired, and someone new came in and told his mother, like, I'm gonna make it my business to find your son. And she did exactly that. She got a call. Miss Wade, by her own account, says she knew when she got the call that Dexter was gone. And her case is so important, Brother Taylor, because not only did Jackson police kill her son, they killed her brother years earlier. And I agree with this. I can believe what the commenter said about Lynn Fitch. We need to get her out of there because she overturned the law to get Anthony Fox, out of prison for killing George Robinson, and paid him $75,000. So that's a slap in the face to the Wade and Robinson family. And then this same police department kills her son. Could you feel any other way, Brother Taylor, than like this is intentional, like this is a personal attack on me and my family for fighting back if you kill my brother and my son?
Yeah. And I just have to give, her flowers too, because, she's been strong through it all, and if you guys go back and look on the channel, I think I do have an interview with her. But her grace and strength, is a testament. And once again, it's an inspiration, because I always say, like, until, I knew a couple of families, but when I got, was able to go with y'all to Mississippi and really see the families, Miss Wade, of course. We have Glenn Foster Jr. I met Tamir Rice's mother, Mike Brown's father, Arkela Lewis, Shantae. All of these people, it's not just a story no more. You know what I'm saying? It's not just something you hear on the news. Like, these are real people that lost loved ones at the hand of these. So it's easy for us to just change the channel. You know what I'm saying? It's easy enough to just scroll to the next article. But these people are living with that. So that's what kind of endeared me, to kind of connect with my brother. And the other case, which is very, very big, is the Rankin County Goon Squad. I think you were very instrumental in helping those brothers. I think it was Mike and
Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker.
Yeah, Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker. Tell the audience about that story.
Got you. So I'm glad you saying all this. Like you know me, and all of my coalition tell me I'm too humble, and I guess that could be a thing. But my job is and my position and what God led me to do is always to uplift others. So I never even concern myself with recognition. But what I'm seeing happening is, if I don't tell the truth, other people try to jump in and take credit for my work. And I definitely have a problem with that. You know, if I'm willing to just let it be out there, I ain't gonna let nobody come in and lie like they did something I did. So I was the first person to tell Michael and Eddie Jenkins' story. I'll give you the exclusive since yeah, for having me on. So Damian Cameron was killed in 2021. He was killed, the first person actually murdered by the Goon Squad that we know. Um, and I was fighting with his mother from day one. Her name is Monica Cameron. Damian Cameron was beat, tased, and tortured right at his house. He was approached for a misdemeanor. He left his house on life support, unresponsive, with a broken neck, a broken femur. He was normal when they got there, and he left with a broken neck, broken femur, and on a breathing machine. So and the same one who stuck the gun in Michael Jenkins' mouth and shot Thomas Hunter Elward is the one who did that to Damian Cameron. So Miss Monica Cameron called me in January, the day this happened, and she said, "Hey, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I know this family, Melvin and Mary. I've been knowing them for a very long time, and they wouldn't lie about this." She said, "But I know it's gonna sound crazy, Marquell." She said, "They beat, tortured, raped, raped. I don't know what you can say on your platform. I'm not trying to get banned or nothing.
Yeah, great.
Raped and tased over 30 times, all while handcuffed, waterboarded, and stuck the gun in Michael Jenkins' mouth and shot him, all while handcuffed." So even in doing what I do, brother, in 10 years of experience, like, you know, I have no trust in the police. I done dealt and heard and experienced and seen some of the most horrific things known to man. As far as inflicted by police onto black people. But I didn't believe it. You know, it was hard for me to fathom. I was like, 2023, you telling me they kicked in the door, didn't have no warrant, didn't have no reason to be there. They tortured, beat, all this stuff, all while handcuffed. But I believe my people, and Miss Monica Cameron being unselfish. I said, you know what? This is my superpower. I believe my people. I got in my car, even with my doubts. I got in my car. I drove to Jackson, Mississippi, and I took Melvin and Mary Jenkins to Applebee's, and that's where they told me the story, and told me that Michael was in the hospital, handcuffed to the bed with the officers in his room who did it to him. So I left from Applebee's and took the coalition to University Medical, the UMCC in downtown Jackson, and raised hell. That's the first thing I did for Michael Jenkins. So the next day they were allowed, because they couldn't even see him. The next day after we done that, they were allowed to see him. Then that same day I went to my Building Bridges page and put out the story, which went viral on my page. I organized the first town hall meeting together in Rankin County to gather grassroots movement and organizers to come in and help fight. I single-handedly reestablished the Rankin County NAACP. There wasn't an active Rankin County NAACP when this happened. Miss Angela English contacted me. She's the president of the now Rankin County NAACP, and she said she had heard about the work I was doing, asked me to help her kick it back off. So the reason you don't see my name on nothing is because I let the Rankin County NAACP take credit for a lot of things that I did to reestablish themselves, because I can't pretend to be everywhere. So I did two town halls, one with Cornell West, where we told the facts of the case. It was Damian Cameron's mom, and Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker. But I'm skipping. After that, I took Michael Jenkins and Melvin and Mary Jenkins to the Capitol in Jackson, where we was that building right across from the Attorney General's office.
Yes.
And had a national press conference, all with all the Black caucus, all the black preachers of Jackson and the who's who of organizers on the step. That's the first time that I told their story and then allowed them to tell their story. And that's credit to my sister, Rakia Lumumba, and the People's Advocacy, and Danielle Holmes. They invited me and other families. I brought them, and I brought DeMonterio Gibson, the black FedEx driver that was shot at in Brookhaven by racist father and son, Brandon and Gregory Case. So we exploded the case. Right after I did that, the DOJ announced that they were investigating. So it was never no need to do all of that.
Is this the picture right here?
Yeah, that's the picture of sentencing. That's okay.
Okay.
So on the right with the pink shirt, that's Eddie Parker. Me in the middle on in the white shirt, that's Michael Jenkins, with the one who was actually shot, had his tongue severed.
Yeah.
The lady right beside him is Mary Jenkins, and that's Michael's father behind him, Melvin Jenkins, and somewhere should be Eddie's aunt. I think that's her off to the left. But since day one, we boosted up their GoFundMe. Just anything you can think of to help. I did it, connect them with resources. I even connected them with their attorney. I called Crump first. I called Carlos Moore. Malik Shabazz is the only one that answered the phone. And that's how he ended up with the case.
All right, so because they had him handcuffed, and I assume they was trying to charge him with something. So how did it go from him being handcuffed and in jail, and I guess the other brother being in jail?
He was handcuffed in the hospital. No, they were both handcuffed through the entire 3-hour torture session.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So let me see. Let me give you the beginning. A white man that stayed 3 houses down from where Eddie Parker lived. Eddie Parker was taking care of his high school friend. She's a paraplegic. She was injured in a car wreck when they was younger. So he had been taking care of her for years. Michael was just visiting Eddie. They best friends. A white man 3 doors down called the leader of the goon squad, a personal call, not like a call to the police, called the leader of the goon squad, Britt McCaplin. He had the other members meet him at a fire station where they planned all this. No warrant or nothing. Just they did not like that 2 black boys was at a house with a white girl. So they planned this. They came in, kicked the door in. They immediately started beating both men and put them in handcuffs. Eddie was in the back room. Mike got the worst of it from the jump because he was the first one they seen when they entered the house. Eddie said he comes from the back, and one of the officers shoots straight past his head, like shoot a shot straight past his head, and then dive on him and go to whooping him. So they put both of them in handcuffs, beating them, calling them the N-word, racial slurs. Then they tased them over 30 times, trying to see, they was playing the game, see who taser was the strongest. This is all in the evidence. You can go look this up. Then they went and grabbed the alcohol, milk, and anything they could find in the cabinet and used the CIA torture tactic to waterboard both men, all while handcuffed. Then they made them shower together after the torture section. They went and got dildos and tried to grape them, and then they put them in the shower together. So after the shower, trying to clean up their mess, they kneeled both men down in the room, and Thomas Hunter Elwood stuck the gun inside Michael's mouth and shot him. So that is the truth. Like, all of that is documented in the federal court case. All of that's documented everywhere. That's what happened. So,
yeah, but so the question I was asking, though, when all of that happened and they take them to the hospital and handcuff them, you only handcuff somebody in the hospital when they are prisoners or being charged with a crime.
Yes.
So that was my question. What kind of crime they charged them with, and then how did it flip?
Okay, got you. So they planted this is, I'm glad you said that, brother. They planted a gun. What's his name? I want to call him by name. The one who they say is the leader, the one who created the coin, the Goon Squad coins. They had coins marking members. There's still more Goon Squad members out there, and Brian Bailey definitely need to go. But they planted a gun on them, and they planted meth. on the men. So they were charged with possession of a firearm and possession of meth or something like that. So Eddie went to jail, but they were trying to coerce him to lie and agree with whatever narrative they went with. So they're so dumb, they let him out of jail. Mike is still handcuffed to the bed. Eddie called me. You know, he called Melvin and Mary, and they put him in touch with me. So I asked him, because I didn't know where he lived. I asked him, "Are you afraid to go back to that house? I need you to get whatever evidence you can." He said, "I'm not afraid. I want to get them. They did this. I need to do this for Mike." He went back to the house. He recovered shell casings. He recovered all the stuff they tried to hide. You know, they were sloppy. So in doing that, the next day after I put this out, the DOJ stepped in. You know, and I knew once the DOJ stepped in, I've never seen them step into a case this fast. I knew all 6 officers was going to go to prison. I knew this was real, and as a result of Michael and Eddie standing up and not being afraid, telling their truth and speaking out and speaking loudly, as a result of Melvin, Mary, and forgive me, Auntie, Michael's auntie, not being afraid and being their voice when they couldn't, along with myself, we got them the most time in American history on the criminal side. Malik Shabazz is their civil attorney, which has nothing to do with criminal law.
All right, so but also when we was down there, I think wasn't they trying to get back in court to get their sentences reduced? Now
only one. Everyone else has sort of owned their evil, and also one of the pigs flipped on the other one. The pig that wasn't a part of Rankin County, like the actual department, he was from another department. So let me tell you this: in order to be a member of the Goon Squad, you get this. How I know Sheriff Brian Bailey was in charge of the Goon Squad, as he's trying to pretend to wash his hands, and they still haven't fired him, and he's running again. But this is how I know he's in charge. Every member of the Goon Squad had been deputized to where they can go all over the entire county. You never see a city cop with a sheriff or this department with another department. So if every member of the Rankin County Goon Squad had been deputized to where they could go all over the county. So you would see Ridgeland. Josh Hartfield was a Ridgeland police officer. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how you know they are a member of the Goon Squad, and that's how it ties to Brian Bailey, because he's the sheriff. He's the only one who has the power to deputize these. There you go. But he's still in charge. They should have fired him. Leadership started at the top. He's practically walked away unscathed, and Rankin County still have their Confederate statues up. Mississippians know this is a hotbed for racism and Klan activity. So yeah. I hope I answered your question. I hope I didn't go off on a tangent. Just a lot of information.
No, you good, because there are so many cases that you have been involved in. Like, before we get to these recent cases, because you guys were down there with Trey Reed, I think, and but it was another case that I've been actually, and I thank everybody who's tuning in. I really appreciate y'all comments and everything. Definitely appreciate the super chats. I really appreciate that. But there's one case that I've yet to kind of get. It's been on my list. The Derekus Connolly case. Derekus Connolly. Tell the people about that, because once again, no, I hadn't heard about it until I spoke with you.
Have you heard about Rasheem Carter?
Yeah, now I did something on Rasheem Carter.
Okay.
I think so
I got you. So I got a couple more to bring.
Yeah. You can bring them out, because this is all. Now you are from Mississippi, right?
Yes, that's my state. That's my state. I feel like Banner. I put it on my back and I held it up alone in this capacity. You know what I'm saying? It's real spiel. But Derekus Connolly, Oh, crazy. Derekus Connors was found unalive, shot execution style, and burnt up in a vehicle on a police shooting range, a gated police shooting range. There was footage of an officer, the last officer to see him alive at a store. Um, and this officer starts to call his mom. He had nothing to do with the case. He was not on the case. It wasn't even from the department that was investigating the case, but he made very, very strange calls to the mom. And then as we dug, we found out, wow, you're the last person to see him alive. Because there was a lot of things to transpire after Derekus Connolly death, because he had people that loved him. So as a result of Derekus dying, actually started a war in the streets because the police put out so much misinformation about what was going on. But he was found on a police shooting range, shot execution style, and burned alive.
And
But
no one ever, I guess, solved the case, or is still.
it's still open, still a cold case. We've gotten absolutely nowhere, and I think once other Black people started dying as a result of this police influence gang war that it caused, no one's really pushing the issue other than his mom. And she wasn't able to attend the Freedom Ride. But those are just the facts, no speculation. Those are just the facts of the case where he was found and what happened.
And that was in Jackson too?
No, that was in Pike County, close to
Pike
Macomb.
County.
Yeah,
Okay.
Macomb, Mississippi. Just say Macomb, Mississippi, but Pike County is where that happened.
So go ahead and tell me about a few others before we get to these current ones that we're seeing.
Got you. So Leonard Parker Jr. Was a 24-year Army veteran. He was at his friend's house. And they were having a get together. He began to he get ready to leave the get together. And as he backing up, officers hiding in the bushes and shoots and kills him unarmed. And their narrative was he was backing up. Yeah, man, it's so many. Oh my God, it's so many. I don't want to.
You mentioned one, DeMontario Griffin.
DeMontario Gibson. I'm glad you brought that up. DeMontario Gibson was a Black FedEx driver. He's my brother, man. One of the most brilliant, intellectual brothers you will ever meet in your life. He was working for FedEx, working while Black. He had a package, taking the package down to the house. And when the white father and son, Gregory Case, tried to block him off, Brandon Case is in the middle of the road, and they start shooting at him, trying to kill him. They follow him all the way out the city on the highway. This is on camera. And because the Brookhaven, the police department, is corrupt, they withheld evidence in his case. We fought for 9 months straight. This is probably, if I'm not mistaken, like this probably the longest I've actively protested. Like on the case, they had a Sambo chief, Kenny Collins. So what we were able to achieve, before I tell you what we were not able to achieve, what we were able to achieve, we were able to get the first Black mayor ever elected in the city of Brookhaven off of our efforts. We were able to get an elected official, an elected chief removed, which this was extremely difficult. If you know how this thing works, that's an extremely difficult task. Sambo Kenny Collins, we was able to get him fired and removed and replaced. And we were able to upgrade the charges. First, they wasn't charging them with anything. They didn't even arrest them. They allowed them 7 days to destroy evidence and hide evidence. And the Sambo chief, Kenny Sambo Collins, his excuse was he was scared. That's why he didn't go arrest them. This is what the chief of police said. He was scared. Why would you be scared of these two racist white men and you're the chief of police in the town? Don't ask me, but that's what he said, and that's on the news, that's documented. So we began to put pressure and advocate. We were attacked every time. I was falsely arrested. and targeted by Brookhaven Police Department. He fantasized about killing me. This is all documented. We got these recordings.
That's why you couldn't actually go into some of the buildings, right? You wasn't able to go into the courthouse.
I'm still on probation, so I've never stopped protesting, even after the advice of my lawyers. I've still never stopped. So for Jaheim McMillan, the 15-year-old boy who was shot in front of the Family Dollar, I'm the reason people know about that, actively protesting. Before the family was out there, I was out there. You know what I'm saying?
And that was the one where they hopped out of the car and everybody ran.
And he was shot dead in front of the Family Dollar. We actually pulled off a big boycott of the Family Dollar. That's why you see a lot of them closing around the country from those efforts. But anyway, they wouldn't release the video. So to get the video released, we went inside the police station and inside the city hall. They targeted me and arrested me on the steps of City Hall and charged me with 1 felony and 11 misdemeanors. Totally bogus charges. So the whole time of the Goon Squad case, the whole time of I'm protesting for Rasheem, Jaheim, the Goon Squad. At the same time, this is at the same time, the Goon Squad and DeMontario Gibson in Brookhaven. So that's Gulfport, Taylorsville, Mississippi, Rankin County, Mississippi, and Brookhaven, Mississippi. I'm doing all this work and all this organizing at the exact same time, and the whole time I'm on felony probation. So that's why I couldn't go in. I've been having to be sort of careful, but I don't give a fuck. When it come to my people, there's nothing I'm not willing to sacrifice or do for my people, you know. So that's why I have to be careful. And I get out. I'm still on probation. I get off in 24 days. So if you think you done seen something now, wait till, you know, I don't have all this hanging over my head. I'm a lot more passionate, I'll say that, than what people have seen. Yeah.
And so before we get into the new cases, the kind of newer cases, because the reason I called you, because a lady called me and was like, you know, we need a national group. We need somebody who's going to be national to fight all of these things. And I thought of you, and as you mentioned, you know, you already are national. But my question is, how did you meet, you know, all of the people that I've seen you, like the lawyers, the doctors, the party members, the coalition members, you know, all of the people? How did you begin to meet all of these people?
So, man, I want to be very clear on this, and I turn my camera off. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to be very clear on this. This all started with me and a sign. You know, there was nobody. To be honest, I didn't even think people was even paying attention. So every relationship that you see me have, every family, every coalition member, every organization is organic. They all met me organizing for one family or another. That's how we all met. So I'm doing the work. They came to support, and once they seen, you know, the real, just like you, once you see that it's real, this brother's genuine. He ain't doing this for no money. He ain't doing this for no clout. He's really with the people and just trying to change and leave a better world to our kids and just uncover the truth. They all locked in with me one by one. God made them lock in, and we've been locked in ever since. And the coalition is still building and still growing. And I just praise God. He has sent all the right people, like yourself. You know what I'm saying? He sent all the right people. I've always said in my journey, I rather have 3 righteous brothers and sisters than 300. Because if, as you seen for yourself on the Freedom Ride in the conference, that my people is gonna rock whatever the body say. That's what we gonna do. Nobody's fearful. Nobody's afraid. Whatever the group says,
get down.
That's how we rock it.
My daughter done got a cat. Hold on.
You good? You good? Take your time. So that's how we rocking. So while we wait, I want to shout out the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, the Louisiana chapter, the Commander Motherland. I want to shout out the regional commander over a couple states, Sister Amina, I want to shout out Louisiana Storm and Mama Ghost. I want to shout out Brother Kojak and Sister Star Dancer with the Black Liberation Association. I want to shout out the Magnolia State Panther Party, Brother Antonio Ivy and Larry Macon. I want to shout out BLM Grassroots and Rapid Response and BLM Grassroots Florida under the leadership of Andrew Joseph and Deanna Joseph. I want to shout out Chosen for Change under the leadership of Mike Brown and Cal D. Brown. And so many more, man. And last but definitely not least, because the whole Building Bridges space was created, which you have been privy to be on the weekly Zoom call. It was all created for impacted families. So I wanna shout out Sabrina Foster and Big Glenn Foster Jr.'s parents, Dexter Wade, Miss Betterstein Wade, and Ambria Wade, Dexter Wade's mom and sister. I want to shout out Miss Wanda, Jordan Hill's family, and Yolanda, his entire family. I want to shout out Arkela Lewis, Jaylis Lewis' mother, and her daughter Lex, Kia, and Nisha. I want to shout out all of the families, Miss Jeannie Leary, Jorge Gomez. It's so many, it's too many names. Miss Samaria Rice. I can keep going, but please charge it to my head and not my heart if I left you out, family. I want to shout you out. Rasheen Carter, just every family that has ever came across my path and that's been locked in with me. We are achieving accountability. Ryan Hen, Tori Hen's, Ryan Hen's mom, Free Rodney Hen. So just anyone you can think of, like, by the grace of God, we've been there and we locked in and we're fighting for justice. Since day one.
Yeah, so real quick, the Rasheen Carter, because I know a lot of people know about it, but actually I didn't know about it until somebody told me about it. So how horrific was that, and how effective have they been in covering it up? I'll say that.
So they've been very effective in covering up, but to go over, I'm gonna say something on here, and I'm glad you're bringing these things up, because you're allowing me to tell the truth that I've never had an opportunity to tell. So Rasheen Carter was working out of town at Georgia Pacific with a company out of North Carolina. He didn't know anybody. He was staying in Laurel, Mississippi, my hometown, and traveling to Taylorsville. This particular day, he gets into it with the person he's riding with, and he's told he can't ride with him. So therefore, he's left walking in this sundown town. He goes to the police station and asks for help. They tell him no. They turn him away twice. This is the first time. He then goes to the store, calls his mother. He's FaceTime with his mother, tell us what's going on. At some point, 3 trucks full of racist white men get behind him. He goes back to the police station and says, please, 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 can you just give me a ride to my hotel in Laurel, or can I sit here until my family gets here? They tell him no and turn him away again, and he's never seen alive again. That was October 2nd. His remains was found out after a guy put out a deer cam picture that shows him in the woods with a stick being chased and hunted with his shoes and shirt off. His remains was located. Oh Lord, Miss Tiffany, I love you. I know you hate to hear this. He was found decapitated with his genitals in his mouth. This is the only time that I broke down, brother. And this is what I told you. I've never had the opportunity to share this truth that I'm gonna share with you and your platform and about these attorneys. And it's one thing that Crump's team did that I didn't like. When the family they sent Miss Tiffany a box of bones. I went to the funeral home with her. The funeral home was actually ran by one of Rasheem's classmates. Look at how God works. They allowed me and his mother to come in and see what they sent. And I was supposed to be her strength, brother. And I ain't even gonna lie to you. I broke down just vividly being so close to the case and being so angry and just not even being able to imagine what Rasheem Carter endured. His mother's so strong, but I brought that up to say that after we did that, you know, she had to go back through that again because the attorneys wanted to be the one to take the picture. So that's something that I didn't like, and that's the first time I've ever told anybody that. But the original pictures of Miss Carter, her first time when she seen Rasheem, this box of bones, I have in my phone, and she told me to keep. So yeah, every step of the way. This is, you know, I used to just go and sit with her. She's my mother. She's the strongest woman I ever met in my life, and I will never stop saying Rasheem Carter's name. I will never stop fighting for justice. There's a $50,000 reward. No answers. This sundown town has no answers, and the same town killed Austin Jones. This is the same town that killed Austin Jones, a racist white boy. Austin Jones was, which we brought over 1,000 people into Taylorsville. I was actively protesting in Taylorsville and Gulfport at the same time for Jaheim and then for Rasheem. We connected them and brought them together, and we made it national. Me and the family have done all we can do as a people. It's gonna take God to touch some of these racist hearts and to deliver, but the whole town has not said anything, even with a $50,000 reward about Rasheem's death. Even the guy that released the deer cam picture, he was attacked for doing so. They wanted him just to you know, keep that under wraps. So him doing that actually helped us found Rasheem. I don't trust him, but that's just the facts of the matter because Rasheem was found on his property.
And so what wasn't there? If correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw somewhere where a junior high school student or a elementary school student got up and said something in class about it.
That he knew that yes, that is true. I have that video in my phone. He was bragging about it and bragging about how his family had something to do with it. Also, that was leading me into this segue, the perfect segue about Austin Jones. So just to tell you and show you what type of town Taylorsville is. So a black brother named Austin Jones, car had broke down on the side of the road. He just needed to jump off. So that night he left it there. He gets up the next day, goes to get it. He gets a ride from a black couple, takes him to the store, but they didn't have any jumper cables, so they took him to the store. This white guy at the store says, "Hey, I got jumper cables. I'll take you." And less than a mile down the road, he shot Austin Jones in the head. This is how corrupt the media is, and they immediately say no foul play and called him a good Samaritan.
Well, why did they call him a good Samaritan?
It's evil and racist, I guess, because he was giving him a ride to his car.
But then he shot him.
Austin Jones was unarmed, and this guy lied and said he was trying to rob him.
Oh,
so
okay.
We went down there, put pressure on them with the Jones family, put pressure on them and the police, and I'm happy to report October 27th is when this piece of shit. Oh, I don't know if I can cuss. Can I cuss?
Yeah, not that much, but I
okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm being myself a little too much.
I feel you.
That's when this racist POS will be
sentenced.
Goes to trial. He goes to trial.
What's his name?
Oh man, it is slipping my mind.
What city it happened in?
Taylorsville, the same town that killed Rasheem.
Wow. Yeah, somebody
this is the standard. And just like with Trey Reed, initially on the first day he was found, they said no foul play. before even investigating, before even doing an autopsy, before even concluding the investigation. They immediately said no foul play, and in fact, this white boy had done and been violent. He has a violent history. He's attacked white, black, brown, everybody. You know,
which one? The one that killed Austin Jones?
The one that killed Austin Jones. Yes.
All right. So you mentioned Trey Reed. I think you went down there, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so let's bring the public up to speed with Trey Reed, because of course everybody knows that they're saying that he did it himself. What has come to light since that initial finding?
Thank you, and I'm gonna say this, and it got a lot of people in the truth got a lot of people in the frenzy. So I'll just go over the quick facts of what happened initially up until now. So initially, Trey Reed is found hanging on the 15th or 16th of September. Before doing the investigation, before doing the autopsy or anything, they immediately say no foul play.
Yep.
Yes. And release the preliminary results would say no foul play. Fast forward to we get on the ground, we get to talking to roommates, get to talking to people on campus, get to talking to his family. We were there for him through the memorial. We went and did a people's investigation, and we found that he had gotten into it with some boys for defending the girl over his Charlie Kirk comments right after his death. And the second autopsy preliminary findings shows blunt force trauma to the back of his head. He was killed with a belt, not a rope. He was wearing a red do-rag, a black Nike Tech hoodie, and gray joggers and black Crocs. There's no footage of his death, like the coroner, the dean, and the police chief jumped out there and lied and misled the public and spread misinformation. All his family was shown was 2 text messages and footage of him walking back and forth at a completely different spot on campus. He was killed in the one blind spot on campus that's commonly known as the white hangout spot, where they drink, where they do whatever. I ain't even trying to slander the white folk. Where they do whatever you don't want to be seen on camera. You know, this college. So if they want to go smoke or mess with a girl, this where you go, because ain't no cameras. You know what I'm saying? So this what this was known as, behind the pickleball court. You don't know a lot of black people that play pickleball. So, you know, just common sense, man. It was always a crowded spot based on the students. And he was hanging from by their standards from 1 to, he was found at 7:30 in the morning by some football players that was going on their morning run. So those are just the facts. Do with that as you will.
So what is, I guess, the family doing with that, or the police? Are the police taking all of those things into consideration, or there's still crime no foul play? Has anybody brought this information to the police?
The police never investigated it as a homicide. I'm just gonna give you my perspective, bro. That's all I can give you.
Yeah.
They were out to protect the school from the beginning, that this had to be a suicide. So that's just what they labeled it as. They never talked, like the people we talked to on campus in close vicinity of the pickleball court, the roommate and all these, they never talked to him. You know, all they talked to was Trey's girlfriend, who he texted. One text message said, "I no longer want to be here." And another text message said, "The belt broke." Also, he was texting her earlier saying, "Can I sleep in your car?"
Okay.
He left his roommate. He said, "I'll be right back." And he went to her dorm, and he was sitting in front of her dorm waiting on her. From the footage, she never came out to meet him. And he walks over to the left, and he's never seen alive again.
And what about what did they say? They said something.
And I'm summarizing.
Yeah.
But his mama's side of the family, they are seeking transparency. They are seeking answers, and she wants to know. She doesn't believe the suicide narrative. None of that side of the family does. So that's who I'm working with. That's who I met with, and that's who I'm advocating for transparency and accountability. I
So
haven't.
what did they say about? Because I think the preliminary reports I heard, they said somebody at first they told the family he was found in his dorm room. Was there any truth to that?
That is correct information. They were told he was found unalive in his dorm room, but he was hanging. All of this is strange. The campus police behavior has been strange. The no foul play immediately is strange. Him having a belt, but them not being able, him being hung with a belt, but them not being able to show him nowhere on campus with this belt. Him not wearing pants that require a belt. His roommate saying he didn't leave the dorm with a belt. None of it just makes any sense at all.
Preliminary reports from people that called me about it said that he had some broken limbs. Was that true, or is
that is not true?
Okay.
So I'll tell you, another strange part of it is Trey Reed didn't have any ligature marks. You know what ligature marks are?
Yeah, definitely.
He didn't have any ligature marks, and he didn't have any bruising around his neck that would suggest he had been hanging for hours. His injuries coincide, which is a hemorrhage to the side of the neck, coincide more with somebody strangling you. The reason the narrative of the broken bones come in, and his family don't want me to release this picture, but I've had it. I have it in my phone. They've shown me, so I can describe it to you. But his mom don't want his family reliving that, and I understand that. We have to see that and making that public. But his left leg was still in the tree, bent backwards. So it looks like he was placed there. But if I was a college student and I discovered you, I would think your leg was broke.
Okay.
That's where that came from. It didn't come out of thin air, but he didn't have any broken bones. He actually had more injuries than the blunt force trauma to the back of the head that I'm not disclosing at this time because I'm waiting on Ben Crump's team. They're comparing the first autopsy, which has just been completed about 2 days ago, the toxicology report, to the second one. They didn't receive everything they needed from the state to complete it. I'll just say that. So the preliminary findings of the second autopsy, just like the coroner jumped out there and said no foul play, the preliminary findings show blunt force trauma to the back of the head. But we have to wait till the whole thing is concluded and compared. And of course, they're coming up with their legal strategy as you would want them to do. And then they're going to release that at their time. I'm not in control of any of that. So people have been in a frenzy because they couldn't understand how I received and reported this information before the news did, or you know what I'm saying, or before Ben Crump has said anything, you know. But that comes from me working directly with the family and being privy to a lot of things other people are not.
Yeah. So do you think, somebody in the comments says, do you think he was already dead before he was hung?
I definitely do. I think he was placed there. I know that his roommate walked around campus looking for him because he had a test due at 12 o'clock that night, which he turned in at 11:58, which that's been confirmed by his family. I know that his cousin is a roommate of the girlfriend, and they went looking for him. And Miss Sophia had his mom had people driving around campus looking for him, who drove around the pickleball court, and nobody seen Trey hanging from this tree until the next morning. So I definitely believe he was placed there. I definitely think it is extremely suspicious that it is done in the one spot where nobody can ever see. You know, the killer had knowledge of that, you know, that nobody was gonna see this.
Okay. So with all of this, I know did you follow, or have you been following, or I know you mentioned the Karen Lacey case.
Yes. Yes.
That's down there in Louisiana. I know we got a lot of contacts down there.
Yes. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of my Building Bridges families that I forgot to mention. My work began in Louisiana for Ronald Green. Ronald Green was tortured and beat and murdered, all while feet and hands shackled by 6 Louisiana state troopers. Yes, they called it. They called it N-word night. I ain't trying to get the channel messed up, but it's graphic. This the nature. There was text recovered where they called it N-word night. Chris Harpin and what is that? Hollingsworth, if I'm not mistaken, they recovered text messages where they talked about. He said, "I beat the living F out of that N-word."
Yeah.
You know, they bragged about it. This is where, through this case, this is where I learned that internal affairs is a scam, that every time the police kill someone, they are given a choice: either tell internal affairs exactly what happened or lose your job. And they care more about losing their job than a black life, or being held account for a black life. And anything they tell internal affairs, they're given testimonial immunity. So I was privy with the judge, me, the Green family, BLM Grassroots, Ben Crump, and the judge were in the meeting where the judge admitted that they killed him and it was a racist killing. And in the next breath, he said, "But can't none of this be used in trial because they were given testimonial immunity from internal affairs." So I still don't know how to process that, Brother Taylor. I still don't understand how the judge can know that they're guilty, how everyone can know they're guilty, and they telling the DA who's trying to prosecute them, but you can't say none about this evidence that he do diligently were able to get their testimony to internal affairs, so it can't be used in court against them. So that let me know right then that they care more about their job than they ever think they're going to be held accountable for killing a black person.
But they did eventually, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they eventually arrest those officers?
They arrested and indicted from the fight. His mom, Miss Mona Harden, and Pep and Dee, his sisters, and their entire Green family, Harden family, fought for 5 years. And they did secure indictments, although not murder charges, but strong indictments at the time, we thought. And it's the first time that officers have been charged for killing anyone in the state of Louisiana since the state's founding. Police officers have. But since then, the state of Louisiana and the corruption and the cover-up, they told Miss Mona that her son died in the car wreck.
Yeah.
They told his family for a year and a half that he died in a car wreck. And they knew they had beat him. Officer Carl Cavalier, who they tried to get to destroy the video, released the video to AP News. And since then, he's been targeted, fired. They told him he can't never be a police officer again. They actually tried to pay him $200,000 just to go away. So this notion of good cops, there are no good cops. If you're a good cop, you won't be a cop long, because they don't want any good cops on the force. So for doing, you hear me clear, for doing the right thing, for showing and releasing this beating and this torture session where they dragged him and stepped on him and tased him and beat him, all while he hand and feet shackled, can't do nothing. There were other agencies on the scene. The sheriff department was on the scene, and the local police, local PD, all watched Ronald Green be tortured in the middle of the street for hours. And since then, all 5 officers have wiggled out through technicalities. Obstruction of justice is very particular. I don't know if you're familiar with Louisiana. Louisiana is still under French colonial law. It's the only place really in America, probably besides Boston or somewhere like that, where you have to have take a different bar to understand their law, because the Louisiana Purchase and French, it's history through chattel slavery. But anyway, I ain't trying to give you a history. Anyway, because obstruction of justice and a lot of these charges are so specific, and the DA chose to charge them wrong instead of charging them for every lick that they hit him with after he was handcuffed. That's what the judge told him he could have charged them with. They were able to wiggle off. So there's only one left. One that's cut a deal and signed a plea, and there's only one left to be held of account. So the rest are still working, other than the main one who said, I beat the ever-living F out of him. The Louisiana State Police killed him. He was a NASCAR driver before being the police officer, and at the day he got fired, they're trying to get us to believe that he drove into the middle of an embankment and killed himself.
Yeah, I remember that.
How convenient for the one who they were blaming that was ready to talk all of a sudden dies. So,
yeah,
Louisiana's one of the most corrupt places I ever seen, and we were making headway with the DOJ and Kristen Clark's DOJ to come in and hold them account, but we know we're under this new racist Trump DOJ that has basically repealed all of the efforts for Black people and all the strides that all of these organizations like Black Lives Matter, Revolutionaries, Stacey, anybody that's been putting in work to change things, he basically done repealed it with a stroke of a pen the first day in office. And it's making it first extremely difficult. He instructed his DOJ to stop investigating any civil rights violation and stop investigating any police cases. So we were hoping they come in and over Trump or overstep the Louisiana police, because it's extremely corrupt. And it's just sad that Kyron Lacey had to go through what he went through for the world to see somewhat, because Ronald Green happened in 2019, May 10, 2019. That happened before George Floyd, but the world don't know his name like they know George Floyd. And if you ever go watch it, you should show your viewers that video. It is horrific, the beating. And
I think I did something on him. I did something on him, but I don't think I showed the entire video, so I might have to revamp that and put that out there again, because that's something I saw it myself, so I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's sad that this high-profile football player had to endure what he endured for people to see exactly how corrupt the Louisiana State Police are. He lied on this, but even with the witness saying, no, the lady caused the wreck. He was nowhere near the wreck. He made him falsify evidence. And even though the Black brother, I don't even fault the Black brother, because he never signed. He refused to sign it.
He never signed it.
He refused to sign it, but he still was able to push this through. So the level of corruption is from the top to bottom in Louisiana. Landry is corrupt. The DAs are corrupt. The coroners are corrupt. How did she even choose to prosecute this with no evidence? Think about that. Why would you ruin a young Black boy's future that's finna go to the league, that's working to change his whole family's life? No arrest record, never been in not a lick of trouble, a happy young man that's really doing right and trying to follow the way you say go about it. Keep your nose down, stay out of trouble, and you frame him. And everybody knows he's framed. You're crazy as hell if you think the police didn't see those videos and know he was nowhere. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
they did.
Still chose to destroy this Black brother's life, and I hate it, and I stand with his family. But I'm not glad he's gone, but I'm glad people see how corrupt the state of Louisiana is, and the Louisiana State Troopers are, because the Green family and the Hardin family has been saying it for 5 years and nobody believed them.
Now, you said the Hardin family. Now, who was the Hardin family? Yeah, I can't hear you if you're talking. Marquell, don't tell me his phone done died on me. If you talking,
yeah, I was talking. Could you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay,
So
Miss Mona Hardin is Ronald Green's mother.
Oh, okay. I
D
I thought
Harden
it
is
was
his sister, and we call her Pep. That's his other sister.
okay. So look, so we going on like an hour. I don't like to go too much over, but real quick, man, because people ask me the same thing, like how do you continue to do what we do with so much, so much, like you said, you had to break down one day. You know what I'm saying? With so much death and destruction and so much evil, how do you continue, on this path as hard as you do?
Man, bro, this is gonna sound cliche, brother, but
Yeah.
God told me as long as I do this, He gonna take care of me, and that's what He done did, brother. You know, I do this too much to work a 9 to 5, and I still find ways to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my personal life has suffered. My relationships have suffered because a lot of these women feel like I love the people more than I love them. I'm 2 ex-wives down. That might be true, who knows? But I've just sacrificed everything because I'm concerned about the world that I leave to my kids.
Yeah.
Okay? If it's this bad now, what world are my kids gonna grow up with? And that's just my motivation. That's my driving force. I want them to know that they father stepped up and did everything he could to assure that they have equality, justice, and the best chance at a freedom and a free life. And I think I've done a great job at that. I think I have a long way to go. I know God is not finished with me yet. So it's him, man. And I know that sounds cliche and that ain't what people want to hear. They want to hear some dramatic story, but he keeps me, and I don't even know. Every time I'm about ready to give up, about ready to lose it, he send a blessing out of nowhere. He make a way out of nowhere, and he just renew my spirit every time. That and the strength of all of these families, because if not us, then who?
Amen. Hey, look, my brother, I want to thank you. We definitely got to do this again because we haven't scratched the surface, about a lot of things that was going on. Just pretty much talked about the cases and, not even the strategizing that you have been doing. So that's a whole nother thing. I learned so much at the conference. So we definitely got to touch on some of those things about how to handle these situations if you are a family, how to deal with the lawyers, how to deal with the police, how to deal with the courts, how to deal with the people, so hey man, we definitely got to do this again. And I don't know, because like I said, I know a lot of people are going to, want to possibly connect or work with you. So if I don't know if you want me to put the Wednesday link in the
No, don't put never publicize that for
okay.
protection for the families. If they righteous, you can send them to me personally, and you can personally send them a link, but never publicize that, just because we don't, you can't
Exactly.
stop who get on.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking about.
Nah, you good. You was thinking about helping, and that's real.
Yeah.
So, but you can Marquell Bridges on all platforms. I want to leave your call with this. October 15th, Jalen Lewis trial begins. Go hit up his mother GoFundMe. They'll be traveling back and forth from Atlanta. Her and her daughters, his sisters, and his mother, and they want to attend every court date. This is pre-trial. October 15th in Jackson, Mississippi. October 20th, Jorge Gomez, civil trial stars in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go hit and tap in with his mother and hit her cash out. And January 13th, alleged racist that killed and hit Jordan Hill, his trial starts January 13th, 2026. So those other trial start October 15th for Jalen Lewis, 2025, October 20th, 2025, Las Vegas, Nevada for Jorge Gomez, and January 13th, 2026, Liberty, Mississippi for Jordan Hill. We have to see it through. And just justice for all stolen lives, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for taking out your time, man. May God bless you and continue to keep you and everybody in the chat, man. I thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We're gonna definitely, bring my brother back within the future, and we're gonna keep y'all up to date on what's going on, how you can help these families. If you're in those areas that he talked about, please feel free to show up for the families. They'll be happy to have you. Or if you have some things that in your area and you think you need our help, just feel free to reach out, man. But I thank you, my brother. I love you. I'll get with you later, man. I'll call you a little bit later, all right?
Got you. I love you, man. Thank you for having me. What you call your chat, brother? What you call your people?
I ain't got a name for it.
You ain't got
man.
no name. Well, thank y'all for listening. And I forgot one. October 27th is trial starts for Austin Jones. Justice for Austin Jones. Peace. Thank you for having me. You have a wonderful night, brother. I appreciate you and thank you for all you do.
I appreciate you, my brother. All right, so man, I really appreciate y'all, man. We didn't really, scratch the surface of all the work that my brother does. But it's just it's a blessing to see somebody who would do such things for others. As the scripture says, no greater love than a man have than he would lay down his life for his friends. And he mentioned that at the end, as far as, putting his personal life on the back burner. That scripture doesn't mean just literally laying down your life like, okay, well, now kill me first. No, that means laying down what you want to do, laying down what's best for you, laying down your goals and agendas to help somebody else. Do the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. And it's definitely oftentimes thankless job. It's often a thankless job. There's not a lot of glamour and glitz, but I definitely wanted to bring my brother up here to give him his flowers and as he always says, to amplify him like he amplifies these families. Like everywhere he goes, it's all about the families of people who have lost their lives to corruption, police brutality, and at the hands of the police, or some of those racist incidents. So I can't say enough about my brother. I hope you guys will find some way to support him and connect with him. Reach out to him. Like I said, it's Marquell Bridges on all platforms, and I'll put his name and everything in the chat, but in the description box. But I want to thank you all as well for tuning in. I haven't done a live in a while. But I really appreciate you. I appreciate all of the comments, the shares, the likes, the super chats as well. I really appreciate that as well. And if you have not already seen it, I am starting up a membership to this channel. Just like as the brother said, I can't really show those videos with the stream violence without them getting flagged and censored on the regular YouTube. So you'll be able to see some of those videos as I begin to wrap up the members only videos, and maybe some drawings, some exclusive in-depth videos or interviews or exclusive lives. But whatever you guys do, long as you have subscribed, I don't care. I'm not too big on it, but if you guys do want to become a member, then you can. But I just thank you. I thank you all for just being an inspiration to me as well, for being a support, for showing interest, for sending articles, the calls, the texts, the emails. The text is just saying, hey, I like what you're doing, keep up the great work, I love your content. All of those messages do not go unnoticed, even if they go unresponded to. And let me repeat it, they do not go unnoticed, even if they do not get responded to. And so I definitely want to just once again pray your blessings over you, your blessings and peace and your prosperity and everything you do, and also safety. May God's angels watch over you and your family, and may we all come together in the spirit of unity, and see how we can help each other against against the outside forces, but also against those things that we know that we need to do as a people to better ourselves. So a lot of times the enemy within is greater than the enemy without. And by within, I mean within the Black community. Sometimes the enemy within is greater than the enemy without. But there would not have never been any enemy within if it were not for the enemy without, if that makes sense. But I'm not going to hold y'all longer. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for liking, watching, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And as always, peace and blessings.